cockpit. Someone left the phone into my cockpit. What I should do, throw it away or come in?
Okay, Robert, box now, box.
I will just stop on the outside of the garage, pass the phone and continue, okay?
Okay, Robert, understood.
Things didn't go well for Glock on Saturday morning. A problem with one of the wheel guns meant his front wheel wasn't secured and it came off when he was out on track.
Smokescreen had sent Sutil spinning into Kubica and left them both with plenty to do. Now you see him, now you don't. Chantok had only managed 4 time laps over the whole weekend, so a bump in the new part of the track caught him out and brought a swift end to his first Formula One race. Nico Hülkenberg wanted to impress on his debut for Williams.
The team would have to wait until Spain before having a fuel tank big enough to complete a full race distance. Practice 2. More worryingly, Kobayashi lost not 1, but 2 front wings in first practice. But on his next run, the new front wing came off.
A first corner calamity is always on the cards in Melbourne. Button, Schumacher and Alonso all got into trouble. Alonso and Button made contact. Michael took a hit that damaged his front wing, and that would see him return to the pits. Kubica and Rosberg benefited most from the carnage. Kobayashi suffered 2 wing failures on Friday, and a third went in dramatic fashion. Hülkenberg and Buemi were the ill-fated passers-by. While Kubica dragged the maximum out of the Renault, his teammates struggled, and a mistake handed him another DNF. The frustration was clear. But that wasn't in the game plan. Massa retook position and Alonso sneaked through ahead of Webber as well. Now it was McLaren's turn to cheer.
Pit braking failure, front left, that's it.
Lewis made his move on Fernando and couldn't make it stick. Mark had nowhere to go, Nico sneaked by and the McLaren dropped to 6th.
Their forecast proved to be wildly off the mark. Button just about made it into Q2, but couldn't get back to the garage in time to take part. Fortunately, Petrov had already set a fast time, but the rain was getting much worse. Alonso did a 360, and then another. He qualified 19th, and Felipe Massa couldn't improve and languished in 21st. Pedro de la Rosa didn't even make it to the grid.
Problem with the car,
But Schumacher was not so fortunate. He slowed to a halt out on track. A wheel nut had come off the left rear wheel and forced him to retire after only 9 laps. He had endured a gearbox problem throughout the race, but it was an engine failure that ended his afternoon.
The closing stages of Friday's first practice ended in dramatic fashion for Sebastian Buemi. His session had been compromised thanks to a fluid leak earlier. Now a problem with the right-hand upright caused a catastrophic failure that ripped the wheels from his car.
Liuzzi caused chaos ahead. Game over for Buemi and Kobayashi. But Rubens managed to survive another day. Hamilton was halfway round the final corner before he came into the pits for a tyre change.
The pits, I'm in the pits.
Back out on track, Vettel had a look at Hamilton. The squabble went to the pits. Round 1 to Lewis. Now it was over to the mechanics. Red Bull versus McLaren. Lewis nearly lost it on his new slicks. There was nothing between them. Literally. The cars made contact. Massa looked to be struggling with his intermediates as he headed in for dry tyres. He was lucky not to get beached. The rain was back and another pit lane battle was on the cards as the Ferraris in 11th and 12th headed for intermediates once again.
Fernando, pass me.
Who is in front? Who is in front?
I am in front.
The safety car bunched up the field. Button slowed the pack down. Right down. Almost to a halt. Conditions were still tricky as Petrov found out. But there were no hugs at Red Bull. And there was the small matter of that pit lane battle.
The popular track for testing caught several drivers out. Hulkenberg got all out of shape in practice too. Kobayashi lost it in practice 3. Just seconds later, Petrov got it completely wrong as well.
Or the camera. And he got a drive-through penalty for his action.
Failure, something. Got left.
Box, box, box. You have no left front brake.
Red Bull flew into action, but what could they do? A precautionary look at the brakes showed Sebastian could continue with care. And now his biggest test was to nurse the car to the finish.
As soon as I touch the brake, the car pulls to the right. Undrivable.
You need to slow down. This is critical.
And 3 more laps to go, Lewis. 3 more laps.
My car.
And Lewis, are you okay?
Can't believe it, guys.
A noble gesture, but you might not have wanted to be on the receiving end of nearly 2 kilograms of helmet. But it was nothing compared to the impact Hulkenberg had on the barrier.
Button has retired. Looks like his car is on fire.
A cooling cover was left on the left-hand side pod on the grid. Components underneath the car got too hot, and when a small fire developed, it was game over. But he had a lucky escape when Barrichello crashed heavily going up the hill to Massenet. Rubens wasn't hurt, but he could have received a penalty when he threw his steering wheel out of the cockpit, and it was collected by Chandhok. Drove over a loose drain cover at turn 2. It spun upwards and hit his car's rear left wheel, causing the rear suspension failure. Until Trulli made an ill-fated move on Chandhok. Whichever way you looked at it, it was a disaster. Sebastian made his feelings abundantly clear. When Vettel arrived in the paddock, he was in no mood for talking, especially not to an overly aggressive journalist.
Don't throw me around.
Lewis may have set the fastest qualifying lap, but his in-lap was decidedly pedestrian. He ran out of fuel and had to roll back to the pits. While Jensen didn't exactly rush to his teammates' aid.
Liuzzi started an excellent fifth, but 3 didn't go into 1, and contact was made with Massa. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Both drivers headed to the pits. But he didn't keep a completely clean sheet when he tapped the back of Alguersuari. Until he jumped over the curb and it was game over.
And I've lost the rear end of the car, I think. So, game over.
Out came the safety car, and the medical car, and the controversy began.
Okay, Hamilton overtook the safety car. So unfair. Hamilton big advantage to doing this.
The team expected to see a red light when the line of cars had formed behind the safety car, and not before.
You cannot go through the red light, so watch that light. Watch that light. You cannot go through it.
He watched it, but it didn't change. His race was ruined.
Keep working with Charlie, with Hamilton. It's the only thing you have to do in the whole race.
Yes, we are speaking to him.
Hamilton knew he was under investigation and had been pushing hard, so when the penalty came after much deliberation, he had minimised the damage, which was little comfort to Alonso, whose afternoon had been... Nico Hülkenberg let his emotions get the better of him. The heat from a cracked exhaust tailpipe ripped some of the bodywork off his car, which in turn hit the rear tyre and destroyed it.
When Vettel's broke during Saturday practice, the team chose to replace it with the remaining wing from Webber's car.
After Turkey, the team said there was no favouritism one way or the other. This afternoon, although Sebastian's wing fell off, it was you, Sebastian, who got the one version of the new front wing. Can you both comment on what you feel about that?
No, I think the team is happy with the result today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, from the outside it's quite difficult to judge sometimes what's going on, so we know what we're doing, I think.
Safety car in this lap, safety car in this lap. You got to bunch up, come on.
I'm stuck behind this paddock, I think.
You got to go side by side to him and wave at him like crazy. You can't just slow down like this. Obviously, don't do anything silly, okay?
It was rather a novel way for Felipe to enter the pit lane.
But in first practice, it was the current title leader Lewis Hamilton who got caught out in the treacherous conditions. McLaren had planned rigorous testing of the reconfigured blown diffuser throughout Friday, but the crash severely curtailed Hamilton's efforts.
Pretty close, he's pretty close. He's going to go. You're going to have to defend. You'll have to defend. You need to pick up the pace because Fernando is faster. Okay, Fernando is faster than you. Confirm you understood the message.
There was no confirmation, but the message was received. Loud and clear.
Okay, mate. Good lad. Just stick with him now. Sorry.
After 19 laps leading the race, Alonso came through to take the checkered flag. Massa followed him home second after putting the team well and truly before himself.
So what I can say, congratulations to the team.
The win was an important step forward for Ferrari, but now they had to face the media. It might have been a dominant victory, but the inevitable backlash soon began. The international media did not hold back when they had the drivers where they wanted them.
Question to Fernando and Felipe. Via a coded message, it appears that we've just witnessed a clear case of team orders being handed out. To Fernando, do you feel embarrassed about taking such a win? And to Felipe, do you feel angry about having to give up such a win?
Well, for sure, you always want to win. I mean, is always what we're working for, you know. And for sure, nothing. We don't have team orders, you know, in the team. So we just need to do the race you can. And if you see you cannot do the race you can, you need to think about the team. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, same. Most important is the team result, so happy.
Whether everyone was as happy as Fernando remained to be seen. The team orders debate was set to rumble on. Ferrari received a $100,000 fine from the stewards, and the matter was referred to a disciplinary hearing of the World Council, set to take place just days before the Italian Grand Prix.
Safety car, safety car. Map on, box, torque one.
A problem with the right rear wheel nut released Rosberg's tyre into the crowded pit lane. And there was mayhem at Renault and Force India. The wheel was heading down the pit lane on the right, and a mistake proved costly. It was a disappointing afternoon. Back on track, the race was ready to restart. But second-placed Vettel had dropped right back from his teammate. He was clearly not within the required 10 car lengths from the car in front.
I stopped the restart, I'm sorry.
That's okay, focus on your pace.
The FIA caught up with Vettel after his safety car infringement, and he received a drive-through penalty.
Why do I have the drive-through?
For the restart, stay focused.
Lap 31 and Seb took his penalty. But his displeasure was clear. And he made his move.
Black flag for that, black flag. That was horrible. If he wants to go to the heaven before me, I don't care. But for me, it was a bit.
Conditions soon became tricky as the weather deteriorated rapidly at different parts of the track. It was crucial to finish a lap and set a time. The pit lane was dry, but further round the circuit, the rain just got heavier.
And rammed into the Ferrari. He wasn't the only one wrong-footed by the damp section of track. The cars had all run wide. Button made sure he didn't gain an advantage. Then recovered brilliantly to move back up to third.
You see what Kubica did to me? I mean, what the hell are we doing here? Are we racing or are we pushing each other to the grass?
Vettel lost the car under braking and careered into Button. It wrecked the McLaren's radiator and ruined his afternoon.
Okay, understood, Lewis. We don't want to jump too early in case the rain doesn't get any worse.
It was a fine line.
It's wet. I've been off. I think I might damage my front wing.
Kubica lost concentration, locked his wheels and almost collided with his mechanics. Alonso's car was right in the middle of the circuit. He pushed the Ferraris to the maximum. But contact with Massa was not part of the plot. And before long, it was all over. Liuzzi looked to have survived until rear suspension failure forced him to park up one lap later. Passions ran high at Red Bull. But they seemed unusually camera shy when they saw the replay. A fire started in the airbox.
Is the car okay? It's in fire at the back of the car, I think. The engine is gone, okay? The engine is gone. Keep going, keep going. Stop and get out, stop and get out. It's on fire.
It certainly was. With flames pouring from the car, he didn't want to... So Heikki doubled up as a fire marshal as the race drew to a close.
We did it, we did it. Grande, grande.
Formula One arrived in Suzuka, but Alguersuari already had a problem. He pushed too hard, too soon in practice one. Saturday morning arrived, but so too did torrential rain. Water sports were the order of the day rather than motorsport. The teams kept spirits high and made their own entertainment. While Bernd Mailander might have been better with fins.
Just 4 hours after qualifying had finished, the grid took shape, ready for the race. But Lucas Di Grassi, ahead, had problems making his way to the grid. He disappeared off the track to the shock of his team. He had crashed at the infamous 130R on his reconnaissance lap. The telemetry didn't indicate a failure of his car, but whatever the cause, he was not going to make the start. 3 cars lined up in Suzuka. Vettel pulled away, Kubica leapfrogged Webber while the second Renault was flying into the barrier. The chaos didn't end there. Massa and Liuzzi crashed out at turn 1. Nico nearly jumped the start and lost several places trying to recover, but it was the smash from Petrov that really ended his afternoon. 4 seconds after the lights went out, and it was all over for Vitaly and Nico. Felipe moved right to avoid the Mercedes, got on the grass, and when he rejoined, he slammed into Tonio. But the drama didn't stop for Renault.
Kubica's wheel came off. It's the wheel, it was wheel. What I have to do, I stopped, I lost.
But with just a handful of laps to go, it was sayonara to Nico. He was lucky to escape unharmed when his wheel came off. Over 1 hour and 40 minutes later than planned, the racing got underway. But things took a rapid turn for the worse for the Mercedes just 1 lap later, thanks to a mistake from Webber. Got caught out on the curb on the exit of turn 12 and turned in slow motion. Contact with the wall sent him back across the track and into Rosberg. The current championship leader was out of the race. A dry line had appeared and Lucas Di Grassi had made the stop for intermediate tyres, but Yamamoto sent him in a spin and out of the race. He was lying 12th until Buemi lost control and speared into the Virgin Racing car. But there were problems for Alonso, thanks to an errant wheel nut or two. Lando hit the spot. First, the left rear wheel nut went astray. Then the right front wheel nut disappeared as well. That proved very costly. But 20 laps later, they were in pretty bad shape, and he joined the increasing list of retirees.
This is what I call a very lucky season, my friend. Very lucky season.
This time Kobayashi took a hit, but it was the Force India that had to retire.
First live memories are from 1993 when I came here for the first time to see Ayrton. I was able to go inside his 93 McLaren, and I was very small.
Do you remember me? 93?
No.
I was here too.
No, I don't remember you. You were too unknown. I didn't care about you.
A left front suspension failure propelled Liuzzi into the barrier and brought out the safety car. The 1-2 finish in Brazil meant Red Bull was the 2010 Constructors' Champion. After almost 6 seasons in Formula One, they stamped their name on the silverware. Even if their musical talents needed further tuning.
Okay, Sebastian, good job. I need to wait until everybody crosses the line. I need to wait, but it's looking good. You just wait, Sunshine, you just wait. Hamilton, P2, Button, P3. There's another 2 cars going round in 15 and 16. Rosberg, P4, Kubica, P5, Du bist Weltmeister!
Thank you, boys. Unbelievable. Thank you, I love you. I need a moment.
Sebastian Vettel, you are the world champion! the world champion. Well done, enjoy it. You are the man.
Vettel took the lead of the championship when it really mattered most. Alonso had to console himself with second. Webber had his best season to date, while McLaren hoped to come back stronger in 2011. Red Bull was the team to beat. Mercedes stayed ahead of Renault, Williams finished ahead of Force India, while Lotus was proud to be the best of the new teams. Sutil had more than twice the points of his teammate. Kobayashi impressed on his first full season. Petrov and Hulkenberg hoped their late-season surge would keep them in F1. It hadn't been easy for the three new teams with such a competitive season, but they had set the foundations for the future.